Hi, today we're going to be taking a look at this Milwaukee Hole Hawg, I think that's how we pronounce it. Now this belongs to a friend of mine and he said it just stopped working, so we'll pop the battery in, we'll see what it does, and then hopefully we'll see if we can repair it. So pop the battery in and let's see what it does. Well, it's a bit unusual. I just seem to get a click and then nothing. I don't think I've had this problem before, so it might be an interesting one. Right, let's see how this comes apart then. So it looks like we need to remove this little clip here. Looks like for holding drill bits or something, possibly, I'm not too sure. And then it looks like we need to remove these screws around here, and hopefully we can get this part out without disassembling the gearbox. So I'm going to start by removing those screws. That's that little clip thing out of the way. Right, that's all of the screws. Let's see if this side wants to come off now. And we're in. Let's move that bit out of the way. Right, so it looks like the control board is in the base here next to the battery connector. So that's the main brain of the drill here, and it looks like we've got a ribbon cable going up to the motor assembly, and it looks like we've got a variable control switch here with forward and reverse. So it looks like we might have to take some part of this gearbox apart to be able to get into the workings of the motor. Alright, so how does this bit come apart? Right, it looks like we've got to take this rubber part off, and then there's some screws going that way that hold the motor onto the gearbox. I think I might have to remove this handle first. Right, I'll just grab a bigger Torx, I think. Yes, right. One moment please. I'm back with a bigger Torx. Let's put that to one side. I wonder if I might have to take this plate off as well, just to try and get this rubber thing to slide off. Alright, I'm going to get grease all over my bench here, I think. Let's try and put this to one side slightly. Right, that's that out of the way. And I need another different size Torx. Right, I'll get this gearbox out of the way. Let's see if we can get this out of the case now. Alright, 2 screws here. And another 2 there. Right, now hopefully we should be able to remove it from the case. Unless there's any more hidden screws anyway. Well, if not, we can separate the motor at least. That's the wire for the LED. I'll just get that out of the way. Right, I'm just going to get a little brush and I'm just going to clean up round here so I can just get a little bit better view. Right, let's just zoom down a little bit. Right, well, I can't see anything obvious at the moment. It's been a while since I've worked on any Milwaukee stuff. Right, grease all over my bench here. I think the first thing I'm going to do is check these MOSFETs just to see if any of those are shorted. Right, I'll just zoom out a bit and grab the test meter. Right, so I'm going to go on the gate of these MOSFETs just to check for shorts. And that one appears shorted straight away. Yep, let's try this one. Well, that one seems okay. Let's try this one. That one seems okay. That one seems okay. That one seems okay. And that one seems okay. So, way to check for whether these are short or not, I'll just zoom down a bit and get the meter just a bit more in shot so you can see. Is if we go on the gate pin here and then go to one of the other pins, we shouldn't get a reading like that. That's just a dead short. I'll just move there so you can see. And if we go from the gate pin, which is this very end pin here, to the top, you can see that's also shorted. I'll just try and get that a bit better in shot there so you can see. Well, if we go on this MOSFET, and if I go from the same pin, go from the gate to the tab, you can see we haven't got a short. And if I go from the gate to these pins here, again you can see we haven't got a short, but we have on this one. Right, so I think I've got some of these MOSFETs. So I'm going to get the Rework station out. We'll remove it and replace it, and then hopefully it hasn't backfed down this ribbon cable into the microcontroller, because I have had that happen on occasion where one of these MOSFETs has blown and taken the microcontroller board out. And unfortunately the chip on the board here is a custom part made by Texas Instruments, and there's no data sheet available for it, and you can't order the part. It's a specific customer part or whatever. And even if you could get the part, we haven't got the firmware to program into it. So if the microcontroller in here is damaged, it's an integrated microcontroller and brushless motor controller all in one chip. If that has failed, then unfortunately we'll not be able to repair this one. Right, let's get the Rework station out and we'll try and remove this MOSFET. I'm just going to try and clean this off a sec first, just so I can double check the number, just in case they've used different MOSFETs on this one. See if we can see any numbers on this. That's unusual. I can't see any numbers at all on that MOSFET. Let's just try the next one along. try and get this conformal coating off. And there might be a number on that one. It's very hard to see. You can see something there. Yeah, 30, 34 I think I can just make out there. Yeah, it looks like 30, 34 because the MOSFETs that they normally use, these ones here are IRLS 30, 34. So yeah, it looks like the same MOSFETs. Right, that's okay. So just to make it a little bit easier to stand up and work on, I've pulled the centre of the motor out here. That's just like a big magnet. But if we look down here, I'll just zoom down, you can see the Hall effect sensors that pick up where the centre of the motor is, just so it knows when to fire the MOSFETs. These are like used for timing, so it knows which coils to fire in which position the centre of the motor is. Right, I thought I'd bring the microscope in so it's a little bit easier to see. I'm going to use my new Rework station and see how this works out. If you turn the airflow a bit on this one.
A few moments later.
Right, I think I'm going to have to remove this board from the motor base because I think the heat's just being soaked up by all the metal in here. You can see there's like this big aluminium heat sink underneath it, so right, we'll just remove this top board first, I think. Try a little bit flux to these, I think. Let's try and open some fresh solder there. That's a bit better. Right. Let's move that out of the way. Right, let's see if we can get this MOSFET off now then. Right, just got a bit of aluminium there so I don't burn me mat. Right, there's the old MOSFET removed. And there you go, you can see it's dead short. Right, let's get a new one out. I think I'm going to put some fresh leaded solder on here. I'm going to clean up some of this conformal coating as well, I think, with a toothbrush and some IPA. Right, I need some solder wick. A little bit of flux on here. Just going to use some solder wick to get rid of this old solder. Right, I'm going to put some fresh leaded on. Right, I think that's about right. Right, I think that should be cooled down now. Let's start reassembling it. Yeah, the new MOSFET looks on pretty good, so happy about that. I need to solder these wires back in. Let's get them into place first. bit noisy, that bearing. I mean, it's not too bad. I might just put a little bit oil on that. I think it makes it sound worse. So we can get some of that grease out of the gearbox into it. Yeah, that bearing still doesn't sound the best, mind you. Might need a new bearing on that. Right, got to see if I can get the thing back together now. Actually, I think it's going to be better to put it in the bottom half of the case first. Let's take this bit back out of here for now. Not sure why that motor's not sitting quite right. Yeah, it doesn't seem to want to sit down on there properly for some reason. Why is that? Ah, there's a groove here, I think. It's got to sit into there. I put this bit on wrong. I couldn't have put this on like a third out, could I? Don't think you can. Right, so it seems you can put this board on in 3 different positions. I thought it would only fit in one position, but apparently not. So I've orientated it in the correct position now. So we've got this gap here, and the ribbon cable is pointing out 90 degrees from this gap here. So now it should all go together nicely. That's better. Right, these big screws went in the back where the bearing is. And a little tip as well when you're putting these types of screws into plastic. It works actually most screws and bolts as well. If you just give it a little bit of a turn to the left first until you get like a click. And it doesn't want to do it when it's on camera. And then turn to the right. It doesn't cut a new thread, it actually finds its own original thread. So just a little tip there. There, just did it there, you just heard a little click. Let's try it on this one. Right, I've got this gearbox bit to go back on next. I am. Right, I'm back, and you might be wondering why my hands are all red. Well, I was just busy assembling this, and I got a knock on the door there off my son saying he just tipped the little telehandler thing over, but luckily it was only just tipped forward, it wasn't actually tipped over. We're just busy trying to get the sheep in at the moment because it's chucking it down with heavy snow outside at the moment. And he was just trying to put a bale down for them, so I just went and gave him a hand with that. But obviously it's a bit cold outside. Right, let's see if we can get this back together then. Right, I'll put this rubber boot thing back on. I think that was just the airlock with the grease, so it doesn't seem to be. Yeah, I can just get air coming out. Must be a small screw in that one. Now, how did this thing go on again? That's for me, that wasn't it. Right, that's it all back together then. What are we thinking then? Are we thinking it's going to work? Are we thinking not? Let's have a go. Excellent. Right then, should we give it a real world test? Let's try and use it to drill some holes and make sure it works correctly. Right, well I've put a drill bit in, but I haven't got the chuck key for this, so I've had to tighten it up as hard as I can, just by hand. It'll be going the other way. Yeah, variable speed works, so. Right then, I'd say that works fine. Right then, looks like another successful repair on this one then. Right, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, please subscribe. Any comments or questions, please leave it in the comment section below. And as always, have a great day. Thanks for watching.